Camilla Scott is coming up next on CTV.
I want to know, are you guys happy? Well, you could be when I send you and a friend to a private concert with Jan Arden in Antigua. To find out how to enter, stay tuned for all the details coming up later in the show. Is everybody in a really good mood? You in a really good mood? Excellent. I have a couple of questions for you guys. Who here has seen the movies, either Star Wars or Independence Day? Lots of people. Any of you guys fans of the X-Files? Star Trek fans? Okay, one last question. Do you guys think that it is possible that there are other beings? Yeah, most of you guys do? Well, the people on today's show believe we are not the only ones in the universe. They say they've seen aliens and UFOs up close and personal. Some say they've been visited by aliens and have spent time on spacecrafts. Others say they have irrefutable evidence of UFO sightings. Is it science fact or science fiction? Whether you're a believer or not, you won't want to miss these incredible reports of aliens and UFOs, so stay tuned. For most of us, our only connection to aliens and UFOs is through the latest Hollywood blockbuster. But my first guest, Patrick, says aliens have become a very important part of his everyday life. Patrick says not only has he seen UFOs, but he's been visited at least twice by alien beings. Hi, Patrick.
How are you?
Thanks. I'm good, thanks. How are you doing today?
Not bad.
Thanks for being here. Patrick, when were you visited?
Back in November 1997, just recently, and on November 15th. Basically, what had happened was I was sleeping, and I woke up to an alien-type presence in the room.
And what did that feel like? Like, what does that mean to us?
Well, it's strange out of your only everyday life. You just wake up and something is happening.
Tell us exactly what happened, though. What did you wake up to?
I woke up to the sound of an actual power drill or some very high-pitched sound in the room, which was a very high frequency and sounded like it was powering down. This was about 5 in the morning, and my wife was beside me. She was sleeping, and I couldn't wake her up. It was a very deep sleep.
Now, you told us there was a blue mist that happened?
That's right.
Tell us about the mist.
Also, when I woke up, there seemed to be some kind of a blue mist or color or some of that in the room. It smelled very electric and a very power kind of a burn.
Now, what happened the next day when you got out of bed?
Well, also, I got up, I couldn't go back to sleep. I looked outside, there was nothing there, there was no lights, there was anything. It shook me at the time. It basically really made me wonder, and I felt there was some kind of thing in the room, as well as I noticed the door of the closet door was open, and there was some kind of cracks on the door as well as on the bedroom wall.
And what was on the walls?
There seemed to be some kind of a fluid, almost like a liquidy, mechanical, oily fluid on the wall, as well as on the doors.
And what happened when you touched it?
It burned my fingers, and it was very intense, nothing I ever felt before.
What did you do about it? Did you call anybody? Did you record it at all? Was anything done about it?
I didn't really know what to think at the time. I talked to a few people, Rob McConnell as well as the host from the X Chronicles, and I just made a note of it because, again, a lot of people wouldn't believe it.
Now, when it happened, did you think an alien was just in my room, or did you think, whoa? I mean, If something like that happened, I don't know that I would immediately think that an alien had been in my room.
Well, it hasn't been the first experience. Also, my apartment is haunted.
So why do you think that the alien came to you?
I've had previous experience of UFOs, as well as seeing UFOs.
Do you think that you've ever been abducted, Patrick?
I don't recall anything, any experience, but I might have.
Have you ever seen an alien?
No.
No. Are you frightened by these experiences that you've had?
I don't want to go back to sleep, and I'm afraid to go, like, in the room or go to sleep.
Have you always believed in this kind of stuff, Patrick?
I was a skeptic until it actually happened, and until you actually feel something or
And was that time that it happened in your room when you were sleeping, was that the first time?
That was the first real time that I felt there was something bigger than just the normal day or the routine thing.
What happened to you in 1989?
Back in 1989, it was my first UFO experience. I was in Algonquin Park, which is also noted as a very haunted area. And I was up there with a few friends of mine. We were playing at a performance. We were at a hotel. We were camping out and sitting around just at the fire. We weren't drinking. And basically, we were sitting around by a lake. It was a clear night, nothing around, no ships, no anything. And the water just started rushing out of nowhere. It started turning green, a luminescent area. The whole area started lighting up with an orange. And I saw, basically, we had seen a craft literally coming out of the water.
And you all saw it?
We all saw it, 5 of us. And we couldn't talk about it.
It's funny, too, because you said in Algonquin Park it was a haunted area, and you referred earlier to it as your house being haunted. And what's the difference between maybe thinking that there are ghosts in your house, or is there a difference to you between ghosts and aliens? I mean, ghosts we think are spirits, and aliens are from another planet.
There is a difference because ghosts only usually stay in one place. An alien or an ET experience can happen anywhere at any time. And it seems to be in different areas, not in one spot.
Now, when this happened to you in Algonquin Park, were you and your buddies afraid?
Yeah, we were. We couldn't talk when we saw it.
Did you guys report it to anybody?
The RCMP did note it in the area, that they had seen it, and there were a lot of reports in the area. It was about 2 a.m.
Now, have you had any other great experiences you want to share with us, or?
I think that aliens and UFOs do exist. And the paranormal does have some part of it to deal with, because it travels, I think, on the same vortex level and using the same kind of way of coming through and communicating.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever experienced time loss?
Yes, I have.
Explain to us what that means.
Time loss is where you're in a certain situation, or you're sitting around and you look on your watch, or you don't recall 4 hours or 5 hours passing by, and you end up being back in the same area, or you've gone somewhere else and you've been dropped off, or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, do people call you crazy and stuff, and how do you deal with it?
Good question. Because, of course, more people, yes. More people are probably skeptic than not, right?
Sorry?
More people are probably skeptical than not, right?
Unless you haven't experienced it. A lot of people are more aware now than maybe 3 years ago. When we started out investigating it, a lot of people are nuts, but if you haven't had the experience, yeah.
So how do you deal with skeptical people?
I just say, well, when it happens to you, you'll know about it.
Okay, coming up next is Mary. She claims aliens are nothing new to her. She says they visit her almost daily and have even taken her on a ride in their spacecraft. Don't go away.
Makes me wanna shout.
New Shout Wipes. Now wipe out stains wherever you go. Just rub on to help remove stains in a matter of seconds. Shout Wipes. Keep them on you to keep stains off you. S.C. Johnson Wax.
When you have a cold or flu, rest is very important. So curl up with Neocitrin. You can feel the warmth of Neocitrin start to work instantly. Neocitrin, warm, comforting relief.
Where's the magic? Where's the magic? You used to make me feel like a king. Ha! I made all your favorites.
imperial margarine, the taste that's fit for a king.
Where'd you go? Huh? Well, you can just forget about dessert.
You know it makes me want to shout.
New Shout Wipes. Now wipe out stains wherever you go. Just rub on to help remove stains in a matter of seconds. Shout Wipes. Keep them on you to keep stains off you. S.C. Johnson Wax. The Ford Agency. For 50 years, the source for top model talent. Here, new models learn the business of beautiful. And when it comes to hair, Ford recommends Pantene Pro V.
Because the model's hair takes a lot of heat.
And Pro V is heat activated. Pantene Pro V helps improve the condition of heat-styled hair. Turn on the heat, see the shine with Pantene Pro V. For hair so healthy looking it shines.
Because nothing frames a beautiful face like a great head of hair. Do you have an idea for an upcoming show? Do you want to confront someone? Do you need expert advice? Or do you have a story you'd like to share with us? Give us a call at 1-800-508-CAMILLA. That's 1-800-508-2264. By aliens and UFOs. Right now I'd like you to meet Mary. She says aliens and UFOs are definitely real. She says she has been visited by aliens and has even spent time on a spacecraft. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Thanks for being here today, Mary.
Sure, you're welcome.
Mary, when were you on a spacecraft?
I've been on various times, but one of the most dramatic things that I remember was in 1971. I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, and I had a very vivid memory of being on a ship. I was actually sitting on like a bench, like you'd sit outside of a doctor's office, and watching some kind of construction going on. What fascinated me about the construction that was going on was that the ship, or whatever they were building, was a metallic, and as they would put screws or whatever they were putting into it, it was almost like it healed itself, the skin of the ship. Later, I remember wandering around the halls, and the temperature was perfect. Everything was very peaceful, and I really didn't want to go back home.
Were you scared at all?
No.
No, not at all. How often are you visited by aliens?
I work very hard at trying to do what's called initiated contact. It's something that CSETI is a group that does that. I do that through meditation and through light work that I do. I have what we call dream or astral contacts very regularly most nights.
What was the first experience you had?
I was about 3 years old that I can remember, and until I was about 8 years old, I had an imaginary friend like other people did, but it was my friendly monster. And I used to sleep a specific way in the bed because I knew it would come out of the closet and it would watch over me.
So how do you know that that just wasn't your imaginary friend?
Well,
no, because we all have them, right? Everybody has imaginary friends.
That's true. The difference, I think, here is that
some people here still have them, but, you know.
Well, I also had a regular, everyday imaginary friend that I talked to when I rode my bike and things. This particular thing, I actually saw this being. It was like a small alien.
Now, tell us about, you said that one time because you say there are different aliens. There are good aliens and then there are malevolent aliens.
Right.
And the first time you had an experience with a malevolent alien, how did that happen and how did you know?
I had just moved up here in April of last year, and I was very exhausted. I'd been unpacking. I normally put a white light around me and do some meditation before bed, and this night I just, let it all go. And my husband was outside at the time having a cigarette, and he came running in. I just screamed bloody murder, and I was clutching at my nose, and it was just the one side spouting blood, and I had some pain in some other areas. So, I mean, it was a very real situation, and I was very clammy, and I knew that something happened. I don't know particularly.
What did you think was happening?
I think that something was trying to implant an implant. I think so.
Now, explain to us what that means, because a lot of the people that are here today for this show talk about implants and nostril implants, because that is...
Right. Well, I think what basically the theory is that they use this as an area to get to an area behind the eye and the brain with a very small... I have a sound that I hear in my ear that's similar to Morse code when I'm very totally at peace. And it's like right in that area. It's like a little snapping noise. And so I don't know that, it's not something that's either transmitting or receiving.
Now, you have seen aliens, right?
Yes.
What do they look like?
The beings that I've come in contact with since I was a child are about 6 foot tall and robed. I refer to them as beings of light. They aren't malevolent at all. And my 11-year-old son saw them frequently and referred to them as his glowy people. He used to draw pictures of his glowy people that would come to him.
And what does the spacecraft look like that you saw?
It's very similar to the orbs that we're filming now on the lake that are kind of, you know, just a very large round craft with some portholes on them. Nothing fantastic like out of the movies or anything.
Are you ever scared, though?
No.
When your nose was gushing blood, I mean, did that...
No, I'm not afraid. In fact, I've spent years working on the UFO forum on CompuServe trying to assist people who need to come to terms with this.
And you've seen a lot of these, right? You've seen a lot of UFOs. You've had a lot of experiences.
Right.
Any one stand out in particular for you?
Well, one that you couldn't describe the craft is kind of interesting. It was in Taos, New Mexico, and I was standing there and I was watching the sky, and it looked like a very slow falling star coming down this direction. And it suddenly stopped and went behind a stationary star while a faster shooting star shot up, and then this thing came out and continued on its way, and I don't think that stars behave like that.
Yeah, I know you have a question, but before you ask your question, I'm going to ask a question. How many people here are believing this? Hands up. Seriously. Does anybody? I mean, it's hard to believe, but if you think about it, if you think about all of the millions and gazillions of stars and planets that are out there, do you think that it's ridiculous of us to think that we are the only ones that have life on our planet? Like, think about it in those terms. I mean, mathematically, it can't be possible that we are the only ones. So it's hard not to believe this stuff. I mean, I don't know if I believe it or not. But anyway, yes, I regressed, and here you go.
Hi, I was just wondering if any of you guys have families and if you ever have discussions about them disagreeing with you about your experiences?
Like Patrick, I don't go around and talk about this. You know, I deal with people that are into the phenomena that need my help.
And is it important to you that people believe you?
My other 3 children are fine with this. They're very supportive of the work that I do.
Is it important to you that people believe you?
No, I believe that everyone within their heart has their own inner knowing, and you know the truth within yourself, and no one can disprove or prove that, you know, whether it's your belief in God or whether it's your belief that you saw an alien.
Why do you think they're here, Mary?
I believe that our planet is evolving. I happen to believe in reincarnation and many mystical things, and so it's all part of that big picture that, you know, the ones that I'm dealing with, there's a 5%, it's said, that are malevolent, but they're helping us to evolve.
Yes, sir.
My question's for the gentleman. You say that your house is haunted and everything. Why do you continue to live there?
Actually, I grew up in a haunted house in Los Angeles. So I've had ghosts ever since I was about 11 years old around me.
And were you afraid? Or are you afraid?
Not anymore. It's not something really evil. It's more of a playful ghost, I think. There's maybe 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
My question's for Patrick as well. I was just wondering if there was any possibility, like when you mentioned your dreams, if you think there's any possibility that it may partly be psychological, if you think maybe you just imagined it and you could feel it, but even though it wasn't really real?
Not at all, no, because it's too real. I've woken up with nosebleeds as well, and scratches on my chest, on my arms.
Coming up next is Barbara. She says not only has she seen UFOs, but she's traveled through outer space with them not once, but twice. Stay tuned.
Kitchen floors can seem like an impossible task, unless you have the power of Lemon Fresh Pine Sol Cleaner. It cuts dirty kitchen grease better than the leading floor cleaner, so Lemon Fresh Pine Sol cuts the job down to size to leave a clean lemon scent.
Soap scum builds up and up and up. Pretty soon, you've got a scum situation. But now there's new Tilex Soap Scum Remover. It's so radically improved, it gets rid of soap scum in a wipe. Try new Tilex. On soap scum, it's the best.
Want to find out how you can save on auto insurance? Watch this. Then I'll tell you more about a great offer from Direct Protect.
Need auto insurance, huh? With Direct Protect, fast and easy auto insurance is as close as your nearest phone. In fact, our team of insurance specialists are ready to help you now and make sure that you get the coverage that's right for you. It'll only take a few minutes to get a free, no-obligation quote right over the phone. We can provide coverage right away. You could even save money. Here, take my card.
Call Direct Protect. Fast, easy insurance from the Cooperators Group. 1-800-810-4990.
See? At Direct Protect, we can help you with all your auto insurance needs with just a single phone call. And you could save money. In fact, with Direct Protect, you could qualify for discounts of up to 40%. And if you call for an auto insurance quote now, you'll receive our guide, What to Do at the Scene of an Accident, free from Direct Protect. So if you want to save on auto insurance, call Direct Protect now.
We all want the mildness of ivory.
Hey!
Oh, you got your ivory. It doesn't have any additives or strong perfumes. That's why I trust the purity of ivory. Mild on her skin and ours.
Who's got my ivory? For healthy-looking skin, the look is pure ivory. For a different experience, try Ivory Moisture Care Body Wash with moisturizers.
Do you know somebody who's totally spoiled? Does their family give them money, cars, credit cards, everything? Do you think it's time they started looking after themselves? Or do you think it's okay to spoil kids rotten? Give us a call at 1-800-508-CAMILLA. Visited by aliens and UFOs, and now I'd like you to meet Barbara. She says not only has she been visited by aliens, but she's also traveled through outer space with them. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for coming today. How many times have you actually traveled on a spacecraft, Barbara?
Twice.
Twice. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. It was by my will. I wasn't abducted. I astral projected.
Astral projected, and you said that as well, right, Mary? Tell us what that means, Barbara.
Okay. Your physical body stays home. Your astral body, your spirit body, leaves.
And you do that yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about the first time you did it.
I found myself on a spaceship, and I was looking out a viewer, a window, and I heard voices or noises in somewhere else in the ship, and I became frightened, and I came home. Usually that's my safety. If I'm afraid, I'll come home. And the second time it was probably a year later. There was all kinds of lights, and there were switches. It was more like a panel. It wasn't the viewer. There was a spiral metal staircase that went up through the central part. I assumed to sleeping quarters. I don't know. Then I heard voices, and I became frightened again, and I left and came home.
While you were on the ship, was it traveling at the time?
Yeah.
And could you feel it?
No.
No. You couldn't feel the motion?
There was no sensation of moving.
No. Were you afraid?
Only when I heard voices and I thought there was something else there other than myself, yeah.
And have aliens actually visited you? Like when you were on the spacecraft those 2 times, you did not see any aliens?
No.
No. Have aliens visited you?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, the first time I saw a craft was when I was 12, and it was in daylight, broad daylight. And I didn't see aliens then, but the silver craft, and it was hovering over Lake Ontario. Okay, that was for about 10 seconds I saw that. That made a real switch in my awareness that we're not alone.
So that was the first thing that had ever happened to you?
As far as aliens go, yes.
And you were like, whoa, had you believed in aliens before that moment?
Yeah, there's a difference. I believed that they were there, but I didn't know they were there. After that, I knew.
What happened to you when you were 13, Barbara?
Okay, when I was 13, I started being visited by, I wasn't sure then what it was, but hearing all kinds of other stories and linking up similarities, it possibly could have been alien. I would wake up into a semi-awake state, not able to move, and I would be terrified that there was something there, not in the room, but in my being. And it was invading, it was trying to overpower my will. It was very scary, and I had to fight with all of my will, all of my force, to push it out. And with it, there was no words. With it was the idea that if it could subdue my will, I would have a child. Now, raised the way I was so religious, I thought it was the devil. And of course, I was really scared. So this went on. There was about 8, 9 visitations like that throughout my teenage life, and it was very scary, yeah. I had to fight each time.
And then when you were 21, what happened then?
Oh, when I was 21, that was the last time that happened,
And it was different. It was very different in that I woke up in the state where I couldn't move. I was fully conscious, but I couldn't move. There was a current, an electrical current, sort of being like I was being bathed in warm water. It was very pleasant. I didn't mind it at all, and I wasn't frightened. It seemed very friendly. So I was just enjoying this, and it got down to my solar plexus here, and I felt I was being invaded and pushed on my will, and I started to become scared, and I started going through the routine of fighting as I knew how. And then the nice feeling changed to electricity, like I was being electrocuted. There was a sound of electrical sounds as if a hydro wire has been cut, very, very loud and electric, and it went up to my brain and was hurting, and it was hurting and hurting in my ears, and I just couldn't bear it. It was very painful. I jumped up out of bed and ran out into the hallway. It was an apartment building, and knocking on doors, help, help. And I realized I had left my body behind in the bed. I went back in because I didn't know what it was or what it was going to do with me, so I went back in, got back in, and then I started fighting with my will, and I actually had to pray and ask God to. I asked everybody else I knew, and nobody came. I asked God, and when that happened, then it left.
Are you afraid to go to sleep at night? I mean, this would just terrify me.
Yeah, well, I was scared for a while. I sure was. I had to do a lot of...
The next night, did you lay in bed and go, hey, I'm going off to La La Land?
It took me a while. It wasn't easy.
Yeah. Now,
I had to recover.
Do they talk to you, the aliens? And what do they say?
I get pictures, I get messages, I get information. Many times I've been asked if I've read the Celestine Prophecy or if I've read this book or that book or Edgar Cayce, and I haven't. I choose not to read them. I walk my life my own. I like to read the Book of Life.
You told us, though, that these aliens have taught you to become invisible?
Oh, yes. Well, when I'm in astral, I have different teachers come and teach me things. So one day, one of my teachers that had come before brought this strange-looking fellow. I assume there's a lot of different aliens because this looks nothing like anything anyone else has described. He was a thin, balding man with this rim of hair, wiggly little hair, and narrow shoulders, and a great big fat belly and hair, well, no clothes, and normal feet and legs.
And what did he teach you to do, though?
He taught me to become invisible.
And also to change yourself into...
That's all he taught me.
Where did you learn to turn yourself into an Inuit man, or... You know what? I'm sure you're used to this, right, Barbara? Yeah. Because it's crazy. It's wacky. But you know what? I'm having an open mind here. Good. I want to believe you.
This is something very different. This is something I've discovered that I have a lot of spiritual abilities that has perhaps come from my sighting of the UFO, which made me reach beyond my own backyard.
So you on your own developed a way to do this. And your sister...
Nobody taught me.
Is she here today?
Yes.
Where is she?
She's
Hi.
here.
I'll be right back. You've seen her do this, right?
Yes, I have.
And what did she turn herself into?
Well, a Native American.
Were you freaked out?
It was rather strange, yes. There were a couple of other friends that noticed it as well.
What did you think was happening?
I didn't understand it. You know, I mean, I just know that that it was okay. I wasn't afraid or anything. You know, it was fine.
Has anyone else seen you do this, Barbara?
Oh, many people.
Many people?
Many.
Now, I know this is bananas, and can you do it here? You don't if you don't think you can.
I would be willing to try, but I have to tell you the mechanism. It's revealing my soul. It means I have to drop who I am. It means I have to relax, and I have to trust where I am. It's very... You have to be concentrated.
And it's hard to trust yourself sitting in the middle of, 350 skeptics, right?
I've never been on television before. That's a bonus. So I would try it.
Okay.
Now, usually I lock eyes with people because someone to view this has to look into my soul.
Okay.
Now, if you're this far away, I don't know.
You want to volunteer?
Although people have seen me at a distance.
Will you do this for me? Come on. What's your name?
Nada.
Hi, Nada. Come on over here. we get a chair? Do you need a chair? Yeah. Bring a chair.
This ought to be fun. Just don't be nervous.
Okay, what do you do?
Just look.
Okay.
Are we okay for this? Yes? Okay, can you do it just standing right here? Here we go. Thanks, Ryan. Should he be in front of you or beside you? Can we do it there so we get a shot on camera? Okay, he can be relaxed. You relaxed? He's relaxed.
Okay. Because as well, for me to do it with you, you must relax. You must not be afraid.
Do I become you or something?
No,
okay.
I am me, you are you.
Okay.
Okay.
Only up here are we one. So,
Barbara, how long will this take? Does it take a long time?
Well, if he can't relax to that state, which is understandable.
Okay. Let us know. You try.
I will try.
And if it's not working, let us know, and we'll go to commercial.
Okay. Now you just have to relax, and nothing will happen to you. All you will see, and if you're afraid, you will shut it down. You won't see it.
Okay.
You have to just not be afraid.
Okay.
Okay. Are you afraid?
Of no.
No? Okay.
What am I looking for? I don't understand.
We're going to continue in the break. You guys
break.
keep going. We're going to go to commercial. Coming up next is Michel. He says UFOs and aliens are definitely science fact. He says he's seen 12 different USOs in the past 20 years. Stay tuned.
New Shout Wipes. Now wipe out stains wherever you go. Just rub on to help remove stains in a matter of seconds. Shout Wipes. Keep them on you to keep stains off you. S.C. Johnson Wax.
When you have a cold or flu, rest is very important. So curl up with Neocitrin. You can feel the warmth of Neocitrin start to work instantly. Neocitrin, warm, comforting relief.
What is it?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like it.
Feel like you're the only one who knows how to change the roll? Try Royale Double Roll. 2 rolls in 1. For less changes, double your Royale.
It's not just the wind or the cold. One of the harshest environments can be the inside of a diaper, where wetness can upset the delicate pH. Pampers Baby Dry can help. It turns the blue liquid clear as it lowers the pH, and it pulls that wetness away to help keep skin dry and healthy. Wetness can upset the delicate pH in a diaper, and Pampers Baby Dry helps control it. Help protect their skin from wetness with Pampers Baby Dry. Pamper the skin they're in.
Winter isn't quite over yet, so if you're tired of your existing wardrobe, get to Northwear right now. All winter stock is reduced to clear. Perk up your winter wardrobe and get 60% and more off the regular price on all remaining winter fashions. You heard right, 60% off and more. Then get a jump on spring. See what's new for men and women from Jones, New York, Liz Claiborne, Columbia, and Point Zero. Get to Northwear right now for their final winter clear-out and a peek at what's new for spring. Northwear, 1212 LaSalle in Place de Leon and the Cedar Point Plaza.
Do you have an idea for an upcoming show? Do you want to confront someone? Do you need expert advice? Or do you have a story you'd like to share with us? Give us a call at 1-800-508-CAMILLA. That's 1-800-508-2264. my guests say they have seen UFOs. Right now, I'd like you to meet Michel. He says after 12 UFO sightings, he definitely believes in life on other planets. Hi, Michel.
Hi.
Michel, before we get to you, I just want to say Barbara, who we were talking to in the last segment, is gone backstage with our lovely volunteer from the audience to have a little more privacy, because we really want to see if this is going to work. So he will come out after this segment and tell us what he saw, if anything. But right now, Michel, we want to talk to you. Tell us about your first UFO sighting.
First sighting I had was in '74 when I was 9. Actually, it's the most vaguest of all the ones I've had. Recently found, I bought some National Archives microfilm and I found documents confirming that somebody else had seen a sighting in the same area.
Wow. So were you alone that day that happened?
There was other people outside. It was July of '74. But I'm the only one who, as far as I know, that remembers.
At the time.
Yeah.
But now you found out actually that a lot of people reported that.
Yeah.
Now, have you, were there any other sightings?
There was a long lull until 1990 when I had 3 sightings, 2 daytime sightings and 1 nighttime sighting.
Can you tell us about that?
The first sighting in October 1990 was at night. Trees were bare. I seen this object come down vertically from the sky. And then it proceeded to travel 6 miles to the now abandoned Falconbridge radar base, and it hovered there for 15 minutes. A large oval, I estimate now 40 feet in diameter.
Did anyone else see that or report that?
There were other cars driving on the road. I had one guy who called me, said he saw something, but never left his name, never left his phone number.
When you saw these things, did you think right away, spacecraft?
The second one, yeah. The first one, of course, being 9 years old, you don't know too much about what you're supposed to recognize as a UFO. But the one in 1990, I was old enough to know the planes. There's an airport nearby, and I've gotten accustomed to seeing what planes look like at night.
When was the last incident that you saw a UFO?
The last sighting was just before the Roswell 50th anniversary this summer. It was in June of 28th. It was near Blind River. We were out there investigating another rash of sightings, and we had 2 sightings within a second and a half of each other. We were looking up straight up at the Big Dipper, and between the first and the second star of the handle of the Big Dipper, jagged-edged, deep red triangle appeared out of nowhere.
Now, you have not seen aliens, right? Just UFOs?
No.
What do you have on your lap there?
I have 2 models that I made based on sketches made by people. This was seen by an auto mechanic and 2 other people in the pickup truck. There was 15 cars behind them, 6 cars coming the other way. This thing we figured out was 450 feet long, 50 feet out from the highway, the height of 2 hydro poles. And the other people never reported anything. I've only got the auto mechanic's word that he saw this. He had trouble lighting up a cigarette. His girlfriend said when he reached home with the 2 passengers, they were white as a sheet.
Now, you've seen a lot of UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think you have seen so many?
Well, I'm from Sudbury, and there's lots of mines around, and there's a lot of mines, and the earliest sighting I've managed to find in my newspaper research was 1916. Where they described the aeroplane in the sky at night. Now, planes weren't flying at night, and they certainly didn't have any lights on, and this thing was following the railway. Then I've got first reports of September 23rd, 1947, when they first showed up over Inco, Coppercliff Smelter. And ever since then, a lot of people, including mine people that worked at the mines, police officers, have told me that they've chased UFOs down the highway. I've got some of the reports here from Falconbridge.
Why do you think they're here, Michel?
Well, it's like us. We're going to Mars. You know, you wonder how come they keep, taking rock samples, and wouldn't it be sufficient to just pick one and study it for the rest of their life? Why do they have to come back and come back and come back and come back? Well, I suspect that you're doing the same thing with the natural resources, water, the lakes, the mines, the trees, the plant life, the animals. That's why you have cases of animal mutilations. You've got crop circle formations all over the world. It just goes on and on and on if you bother to take the time to do the research.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question's for Mary. Have you ever spoken to an alien?
The conversations that we have are like a telepathic type in my mind. Some of the training that she was talking about that I do at night, I don't really know what I'm learning because it's kind of like a Tibetan chanting that I hear in my head. But it doesn't feel evil or bad. It's like something that someday I'll know what it's supposed to mean, like Latin in the Mass or something.
Thanks, Mary. Coming up next is paranormal expert Rob McConnell. He's been interested in alien and UFO phenomena ever since he had his own experience at age 5. Stay tuned.
Price check, aisle 7, price check.
Catelli welcomes you to the grocery aisles where we shop.
Clean up in aisle 4, please.
Ripe tomatoes, fresh onions, fresh celery, roasted peppers. They're just some of the good things in our Garden Select pasta sauces.
Shoppers, don't miss our one-day carrot fest.
Garden Select, only from Catelli. You never forget your first taste of midnight.
Whoa.
New Midnight Mint Dentine Ice. Breathe easy, breathe icy.
It's truckload savings on English appliances now at Yalis. Now everyone knows when you buy a whole truckload, you get a better price. And the English prices couldn't be lower. The deals couldn't be better than right now at Yalis. An 18 cubic foot 2-door refrigerator is just $787. An English super capacity washer, a mere $594. Yalis will even pick up the GST and deliver free within 300 kilometers. But don't wait. The truckload savings on English appliances will hit the road soon. Get all the details now at Yalis.
Looking for the ultimate adventure without leaving home? It's right here. Outdoor Life Network takes you higher, deeper, faster. We push the envelope when it comes to thrills, spills, and skills. Non-stop high-energy action is the order of the day on H2O Mondays, Alpine Tuesdays, Expedition Wednesdays, Wild Thursdays, Rod and Wheels Fridays. So buckle up, hang on. Outdoor Life Network. Live life outside.
For free tickets to my show, call 416-299-2250 or write Camilla Scott Tickets, Box 9, Station O, Toronto, Ontario, M4A 2M9, or you can reach us on the internet at camilla@bayton.com. Hi, welcome back. Today, my guests say they've been visited by aliens and UFOs, and joining us now is alien aficionado and host of the radio program, The X Zone, Rob McConnell. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Thanks for coming today, Rob. Rob, how did you first get interested in UFOs and aliens?
1957, living in Montreal, we were near the Dorval Airport. One night, every kid in the neighborhood saw something in the sky they couldn't explain. The next day, all the kids were talking about it. Not one adult spoke about it, and they haven't talked about it since. Since then, it's been onward, and if you'll excuse the expression, upward.
And you were 5 years old at the time?
5 years old, that's right.
Did you have any idea what it was you saw, or?
No, and to this very day, I still don't.
What makes you so sure that it was a UFO?
Well, you see, I'm not sure it was a UFO. What it was something that I could not explain at the time. Just like we know 100%, if we have 100 UFO reports, 97.5% are identified, leaving a 2.5 unknown factor.
Now, you have spoken to a lot of abductees, meaning people who have been abducted by alien aircraft, right?
Or alleged to have been abducted.
Alleged to have been.
That's right.
What did they say to you?
Well, not unlike Patrick, who I know for a number of years now, his story is very concise. Mary's story is very concise, and so is Michelle's. They all share something very unique. They all share a growth, an inner feeling. Michelle is an expert researcher. He has taken the time to research the projects, research the sightings, and he's very concise. Patrick is an artist. He relates to what he's seen in artistic talents. Mary is very spiritual. So here you have three people who express themselves in three different ways.
How many abductees have you spoken to?
Oh, over the last 8 years doing the show, 150 to 200.
Now, do you notice a common thread with everyone, or?
Yes, we do. They all have, they're all very cognizant of the ecology of the Earth. They're all very cognizant of the nuclear capabilities. They all have a desire to help the young, the old. They're one form or another, they're very artistic. And after their experience, after their encounter, they come back with an understanding of theology that makes what they knew in their previous times fit into a thimble.
Now, Have you noticed any consistencies with these guys here today? One question, and all these questions are coming into my head at one time. And also, when you talk to those other people, are there any like amazing, unbelievable? I mean, they're all sort of amazing, unbelievable stories. But any great stories that come to mind, like people have told you?
Each and every one of them, to me, is great. You see, the motto of our show is where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. We try to take the tabloid trash away from the business, where we sit down and we listen to them one-to-one, and we're there to listen, we're there to learn, we're there to help. And these people here all share something very unique. And there's a basic sense of credibility in each and every one of them. One thing I've never heard before was the transfiguration that Barbara was talking about after her encounter. The astral body, where she ran away from her body and she was frightened at this point. This is something very new to me. And
just the actual part where she changes her body. But the trauma part, are there any stories that are very traumatic or
50-50.
Yeah?
You know, 50% are traumatic, 50% are pleasant. It all depends on your ability to cope, to change, and to understand the changing surroundings that you're going under at the time.
Why do you think aliens are visiting Earth, Rob?
I think they've been here since day one. If we look throughout the various books in the Bible, you know, Genesis 1:26 said, and God said, let us create man in our image. Was this the very first hub of the first connotation and notation of extraterrestrials? Was the birth of Christ the first recorded artificial insemination between an extraterrestrial and a terrestrial? Are the angels of yesterday the extraterrestrials of today?
Thanks so much, Rob. Coming up next, Dr. Joe Nichols says there is no such thing as aliens or UFOs, and he has scientific explanations for what my guests have experienced. Don't go away.
Most Canadians aren't aware of an important fact regarding alcohol. A standard 12-ounce mug of regular strength beer, a 5-ounce glass of table wine, a 1.5-ounce drink of spirits are equal in alcohol content. Think about it. A drink is a drink is a drink. Remember, to a breathalyzer, they're all the same. A message from the Association of Canadian Distillers.
My friends always ask me, what's the recipe for my optimism? Well, like my favorite cookbook says, you just have to plan ahead. That's why I recently settled questions concerning my funeral. Are my loved ones going to have enough money? Who will they turn to for assistance once I'm gone? It's taken care of now, thanks to Norwich Union's Funeral Coverage Plus. If you're between 50 and 75, I urge you to call the number below for your free information kit. In a nutshell, Funeral Coverage Plus is an insurance plan that provides money and assistance to your loved ones after you pass on. Your benefits are paid out within 48 hours of Norwich Union receiving the proper documents. It's even tax-free, which is nice, because we've all paid enough taxes.
For your free information kit, call 1-800-563-1563. You'll also receive the final planning guide with valuable information on wills, funeral costs, and more. That's 1-800-563-1563, extension 684.
Tonight on the NCTV News Evening Edition.
They are trained to serve and protect, and now that training is on its way to Azilda. Plans are in the works for a Northern Police College. Computer recycling. One person's old RAM is another's gateway to information. We'll hook up with the Computer Recycling Network.
We have the whole story tonight on the NCTV News at 6, where the North gets their news.
You could be one of 3 lucky winners on your way to a private concert with Jan Arden in Antigua, courtesy of Signature Vacations. For your chance to win, pick up your official Jan Arden in Antigua postcard at any participating Future Shop. Hi, welcome back. Today, my guests say they have been visited by aliens and UFOs, and joining us now with his scientific explanations for what my guests have experienced, please welcome Dr. Joe Nichols. Hi, Dr. Nichols. Just very briefly, Dr. Nichols, before we get to you, I just want to quickly ask you, now that you've been backstage with Barbara for the last 2 segments, did you see anything?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, you know what, Barbara? Huge pressure. Huge.
I do have a question.
Exactly.
I asked Barbara backstage, and I just want to ask the rest of you. I know I haven't seen anything, even when I tried with Barbara. Do you have any reasons to believe why you people were the chosen ones?
Barbara, very, very quickly, do you think there's a reason why you're the chosen one?
I believe in reincarnation. I believe I've done a lot of work to bring me up to this point so that I'm creative, I'm aware, and I'm open to help humanity.
Now, Dr. Nickel, to you, why don't you believe in UFOs?
Probably believe is the wrong word, because believe sounds like we have some faith or something like that. And what we should ask is there evidence? Sure, there are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. I've seen 3, but unfortunately they became IFOs, identified flying objects, after I recognized what they were. And many weather balloons and other things in the sky, people misperceive. They see them under unusual circumstances.
How do you explain what our guests today have experienced, Dr. Nickel?
Well, I think it's very interesting that so many of these people reported states just waking up and being in a semi-conscious state. There's a phenomenon called a waking dream. It's very similar to sleepwalking in the sense that it's in the twilight zone between waking and sleeping. Typically, the person's either going to sleep, or if they're waking up, they may feel paralyzed because the body isn't awake yet. And so you notice that in one of the cases, the sleep paralysis. One of the common features of this waking dream is seeing bizarre imagery. And the interesting thing is that in the Middle Ages, people saw demons and felt the demon was weighting them down. In the 19th century, they saw ghosts and were afraid. And now they're apt to see angels or alien beings.
But how do you explain, though, when there are sightings and different people in different areas all report the same thing, and it can't be explained?
Actually, as we saw here, there are quite a variety of explanations, different sized creatures and so forth. But the classic little big-headed, big-eyed humanoid, everybody's seen that. There's no one who's awake and alive on the planet Earth now, probably, who hasn't seen that, at least in the Western world. And so these waking dreams tend to take on the sort of entity du jour.
Now, you've studied a lot of abductee cases?
Yes, I looked, for example, just in one group of 67 cases, no fewer than 42 of these were experiencing waking dreams. You could tell it, just read it. More than that, about 59 out of the 67 was some kind of sleep-related phenomenon, such as a dream, a vivid dream, a nightmare, or one of the 2 forms of waking dreams.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Camilla. I have a question for the panel. Have you ever experienced any intimacy with your experiences with the aliens or so forth?
Who was that for?
The panel.
Anybody. What about you, Patrick?
No.
No? Mary?
No.
Yes, sir.
Can you say, this is a question for Dr. Nickel, is there any consistency across, is there like a certain type of personality that's likely to have these type of encounters?
Yes, and let me say this, I never intend to insult anyone, and I don't laugh at anyone, but there is a certain type of person, maybe 4% of the population, highly imaginative, the type that has imaginary playmates, out-of-body experiences, frequent waking dreams. They hear entities talking to them. These are not delusional people or anything of that sort, but they are what we call fantasy-prone. They're often highly talented artists, musicians, and people like that. And I'll let you decide whether that might apply in any of these cases.
I just want to very quickly, we are almost out of time, go through each one of you and ask you yes or no if you think what you have experienced is what Dr. Nickel is talking about. Patrick?
I've got proof.
Yes or no? We got to be real quick.
No, I've got real evidence.
You have proof. Mary?
Real proof.
No.
No. Barbara?
Mine was when I was fully awake.
Michelle?
No way.
Okay. And you have you, Rob? You haven't actually seen UFOs?
No, not that I know of, but I will concur with the panel.
Okay, we'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Well, come on.
Oh, do you think it's possible after all these years?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Albert, it's changing color.
I knew it.
We've got hard water.
If your soap won't lather well, and if your skin feels dry, you might have hard water. Try switching to Zest. Regular soap can leave a drying film behind, but even in hard water, Zest rinses cleaner for cleaner, smoother feeling skin.
You're not fully clean and feeling smooth unless you're Zest fully clean.
We're not getting older.
We're feeling smoother.
Just 6 months.
But my instructors made it easy.
Fast forward to a new job. Call Toronto School of Business today. Make one phone call to Toronto School of Business, and in as little as 6 months, you could fast forward to a career in business, secretarial, computers, or one of many other diploma programs. Call Toronto School of Business now, and you could graduate in as little as 6 months, whether you're preparing for a new career, upgrading, or retraining. Call Toronto School of Business and fast forward to your new job today.
On the next Camilla Scott.
I have with me Super Student.
What is wrong with Brenda's resume?
People have this tendency they want to put their education first. I don't want to seem pushy.
On the next Camilla Scott.
Guests of my show stay at the International Plaza Hotel and Conference Centre on Toronto's west side. Luxurious rooms feature private jacuzzis and king-size beds. Play in the International Rapids Water Park. Savor the world-class cuisine of Alfredo's. The International Plaza, Toronto. I want to thank all of my guests for being here today and sharing their stories with us. And a special thanks to Rob McConnell and Dr. Joan Nickel. So, what do you guys think? You think aliens really do exist? Could there be life on other planets? As we approach the millennium, it's only natural that we start to ask ourselves these questions. Just remember one thing, the truth is out there somewhere. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.